My friend challenged me to a building competition. He said, we're both building a flying island, and whoever gets the most votes wins the challenge. The catch is, I am using Blender to build this island, and he's using Minecraft. I really liked this idea, so I immediately got to work and opened Blender. I wanted to start with the tree, because I wanted to have a big tree in the middle of my island, and I think it is a great starting point to hold everything together. So I started blocking it out with meta balls, but I soon realized it's just not the outcome I wanted to have. I added a subdivided cube and added some loop cuts, and then I just modeled and sculpted over that, so I have the basic shape of my tree trunk. It's not that great, but I think it was a great starting point, and it's also not the main aspect of my image, so I think it worked okay. Then I added a tree with the tree generator built in Blender, and it was a little bit buggy, so I had to learn how to use it, but in the end it worked fine and I really enjoyed using it, although Blender crashed on me one time. Then I merged them together, as you can see here, and I made some small adjustments so they really blend together nicely. Then I wanted to generate the island with the landscape generator, and I think it worked well. But then I had no idea how to get rid of those edges, so I just deleted them manually. 1 out of 10, I would definitely not recommend you doing that, but I guess it worked for this case. And then I added another layer on top, and I tried to merge them, and also it was just really messy. I would just not do it a second time like this, but I guess it worked for this case. And then I had to manually delete those messed up edges, but I guess that was not as time consuming as I thought it would, so yeah, I guess it worked. Then I smoothed out the edges a little bit, so it looks cleaner and the edges are not that hard, and I got rid of some messy loop cuts. Then I added another tree and flipped it upside down for the roots, so it looks like the roots are coming out of this rock, so I hope it adds some realism. Then I wanted to add some grass, and I got the texture for the grass from ambientCG. Maybe I also got it from Sketchfab. I use both of those websites. I can just recommend them. I will put the links into the description so you can check it out if you want. Great opportunities if you want to have textures and models for free. As you can see, I did this whole grass thing with a particle system. It worked fine. I guess nowadays you don't do it like this anymore, but I just figured it would work for this case, so I did it like this. And then I added some other grass for some variation. I think this texture looked better actually. Then I added textures for the tree, as you can see, and for the roots. And then I tried to add a texture for my island. And I wanted to have a grass texture on top of the island, and then some sand in between, or dirt, and then I wanted to have rocks at the bottom, so I created these masks, as you can see here, so they blend together nicely. And yeah, it took a moment for me to figure out that if I copy and paste those node trees, they are linked, so it was a little bit stupid, but in the end it worked out. Let me know if you would like to see a tutorial about how I did this textures. I guess it's not very complicated at all, but if you just don't have a clue how to do it, it might seem complicated, but I would love to show you that it's not. And yeah, it's really basic, but it's very fun to play around with textures. Then I added an HDRi, so high dynamic ranged image. I got that from HDRi Haven. It's also free. I can really recommend this site because it's just great, and there are a lot of free HDRIs. Yeah, and then I added some light for the island, so it's not that dark and you can see some details. And yeah, I started to just make the scene look good for the render. Then I started to add some rocks. I made them also with the landscape generator. That worked fine, and I just textured them and placed them somewhere in the island, so it looks more natural. And I also placed them on top. I think in the actual render you can't even see them, but I couldn't know that in this moment, so I just did it anyways. Then I started to download textures of clouds. Some of those were just PNG files, so I could just import them and they would look good and they would have a transparent background, but some of them they were not transparent, so I had to just do some basic masking in Blender, but there was no problem at all and it worked fine. Then I added a plane with an ocean modifier. I don't know exactly why I did this whole ocean thing, but I don't know, in the moment I just liked that idea to have it placed on the ocean, and I think the mood is great, so I just did it, and I think it worked out fine in the end and it looked great. Then I was thinking about how could I make it seem as if the camera is placed in a boat on the sea, so it rises and falls with the waves. And in the end I ended up by shrink wrapping a plane onto the plane of the ocean modifier, and then I set the camera to copy location of the plane, so it followed the location of the plane, and it worked great in the end. Here I did a test render, and as you can see I downloaded a model of a boat from Sketchfab and I used it so it looks as if we are placed in a boat. Then I added this bird. I got that from YouTube actually. I was looking for a video of birds flying and I found this video of this guy. He was flying next to birds with his flying machine. I don't know what this thing was, but it was great because he was flying the same speed as the birds, so in this video the bird was not moving and I could just import that as a plane and it worked great. Then I animated the island to move up, and yes, I did some small adjustments. I added a particle system for the stones, so it looks like little stones are falling off this island. Then I moved on to the compositor and I added some lens distortion and some glare, so it looks a little bit more alive. Then I imported it in DaVinci Resolve and then I started to color grade it. Just some color correction and nothing fancy actually. Then I masked out the tree, and can anyone tell me why the magic mask in the color tab is so much better than the magic mask in the fusion tab? I don't understand that, but it is so much better. And then I made the tree a little bit darker. And in the end I added some film grain to make it look a little bit better. And that's it actually, and here is the final render. This video is way longer now than I expected it to be. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you watched it till the end, let me know what you think of my render and what I could improve, and yeah, what I should do next. And if you want to see a tutorial on one of my approaches. And don't forget to check out my friend's YouTube channel and to leave a like and subscribe and vote for me in this challenge. Thank you.